Hello and welcome to this very special programming that we bring to you from Kanha Shanti Vanam in Telangana. This is one of the biggest meditation centers in the world, sprawling 1400 acres of land here. And meditation, while is an important part to this and an integral one as well, but the other things to notice is that this is an area which has lakhs of trees. There are forests within forests. There's also 5,000 species of plants that I have seen here, and they are not just native from India, they have been brought over from all over the world. And that's not it. It also is about tissue culture. Remember, there are more than 200 plants which are getting extinct in India. So there is a way to also preserve them. And then there is hydroponics. There is very scientific ways of growing plants here. And then apart from that, rainwater harvesting, sustainability, solar, a lot of work that is being done here as well to ensure that environment credit, carbon credits and earth in a certain way is also saved. Let's get on to this very, very interesting conversation. Daji, as you are fondly called, you created a barren land into something which is so lush and green, a community which is also upcoming here. How have you done that?
I'm not the only one who has come to do all this thing. We have many individuals who join my hands, who are, I would say, lovers of nature. We all came together. We are all meditating. So naturally, most meditators have a sensitive heart to contribute. And where we had no water in 2015, 16, 17, like that, every time somebody would come here to this place at Kanha, they would bring at least few gallons of water.
I spoke to some people, they said they got a bottle of water if nothing else.
Yeah. And they would plant one tree and look after it for a few years, and that's it. And hundreds of thousands of people would come here over a few years later on. And we have over 1 million trees, more than 5,000 species. When we had not even a single bird flying in this area, now we have almost 118 species of birds. So it's a phenomenal change in, I would say, biggest change is in the last six years that we see. And I would say it's a commitment of people.
But it's a vision that comes from somewhere. And then, of course, people believed in you and did that.
Well, we work with trust. So, and I would say they are so willing. I mean, we can convert the entire subcontinent of India into a massive green Amazonian type of, country.
I've seen forests within forests in this area.
Yeah.
And you were telling me yesterday that there are around 5,000 species of trees here. So that clearly has to have some vision. You worked on this.
Yeah, we identified so many. In fact, those did not belong even to India, but they would thrive in this environment. We brought them. And we made sure that they don't become invasive. And they're not invasive species either. For example, something that would grow in Amazon. We brought some of those rainforest trees, something that would grow in the Western Ghats only. We brought them here. And instead of waiting for the rain, we provided rain through those rain guns, shooting out rain every so often during summer. And now it's all lush green rainforest in Telangana.
I have seen that.
Yeah.
That brings me to the water harvesting, and you've done rainwater harvesting. That is what gives water to many of these.
Yes, the first attempt was to store water. So each time it rains, we would store every drop, not only that rain within this premises, but something that would flow away on the outside roads. What we did was created channels outside and collected water and brought it into the premises where there would be water bodies connected. We have more than 7 water bodies in this premises of almost 600 acres.
And that's just one part of it. I mean, as you said, the basic on what you do is heartfulness as a meditation. And that is what has brought this community together and this place put together. How does a person who is practicing pharma in US starts to do that in India? What has been that story like?
Oh,
Uh,
this is a story of people who love meditating. And meditation is the thing that creates, first of all, even in the first session, it triggers very sharp level of discriminating faculty. And that viveka, discriminating right, wrong, it tells you and it guides you throughout your life, that's it.
And this community is only growing.
Growing because of this sensitive heart and very sharp discriminating mind.
I want to pull your attention to this, and I can see these reused curd dabbas that we have here, and you've done something amazing here. Tell us about this.
Well, these are dabbas, curd dabbas from Amul.
Amul Masti Dahi, I can read that.
And we use almost 100 such dabbas every day for our to feed people, almost 100 every day. So what to do with this waste? So we create this hydroponics.
I can see some lovely plants here.
And this is not soil. This is cocoa peat.
Cocoa peat.
Yeah, and this water drips into it. See? This water with nutrition. Here what you are seeing is broccoli. Here what you are seeing is, I keep it on top here so that, because it grows even 6
Taller.
feet, 5 to 6 feet.
Oh, we have a couple of them there.
This is turmeric. Generally, if you do a traditional farming, it will not grow more than this height, maybe 3, 4, maybe 4 feet. This will grow 6 feet easy. And more than that, the curcumin content of this turmeric will be very, very high. And from this one basket, I can easily harvest 1 to 2 kilos of.
Oh wow, that's very, very high yield there.
Very high yield. Economically sound and qualitatively also very high content of curcumin, and no contamination, no.
I see that's mangoes.
These are mangoes, yes, yeah.
So as you've been talking about, you have really 5,000 type of, and I also see papaya here. So there's a lot of backdoor gardening happening here.
Yes, definitely. This is the first activity we started. The nature must be there. Along with nature, without nature, what can we do? Imagine how this place would be without it.
Talk to me about the varieties of innovations in sense of farming, in sense of yields, in sense of growing that you have been doing here. One, we've seen hydroponics, of course, and I also saw tissue culture lab on the way. There are various other things happening around all over the place.
Well, tissue culture, it's emotional for me, and at the same time, it drives me in some different way. It motivates me tremendously because there are trees which our children, grandchildren will not be able to see in their lifetime. Some you won't even find those trees in next 10 years, they'll be gone. So I thought, why not revive them if there are a few trees? So if you give me some flowers or seeds, fruits, or even the tender twig of that tree, we can reproduce through tissue culture lab. So we invested a lot of money in tissue culture lab on our own without any government's help. I didn't even know that government would help, but later on they say, we would have helped you. I say, then let's make another one somewhere. But then they laugh it out.
So with the tissue culture lab, what kind of plants, what kind of genes are we protecting right now? What number, what variety?
Well, out of 285 endangered species of India, we are able to revive 4 of them. To me, it's a big, big, big thing. Yeah. At the same time, we are reproducing or recreating things like neem tree, neem trees with a very high content of those oil with a specific active ingredients. And we work with the Dehradun Research Lab.
Okay.
They say we give you about 6 different varieties of newly developed genes for these neem trees, and we are doing it in millions. and then we'll plant it across the forests. But there too, we have a challenge because forest department in India, we need their blessings.
That really brings me to the next question then. Would you say that a lot of policies within India also need to be changed, especially when it comes to sustainability, when it comes to the kind of funding or schemes or hand-holding or that India really needs at this point in time?
Well, change in approach to various things in this field doesn't require much fund.
Okay.
It needs awareness that you can do without investing a lot of money. Imagine what has been created here over 1,400 acres. If I give you the numbers, you'll be surprised. Oh, wow, you could do it with this. For the same thing, the government would have spent at least 2,000 crores. And I have not even spent 1/10 of it.
And that's the result that we have. And you're doing it much more in various other states as well, I hear.
Yes, yes. We have taken up a challenge where the local member of parliament said, don't do anything here in this district, Ratlam, for example. We took up that challenge and we have developed 800 acres of lush green forest where it was told that nothing grows here. You can see it, Ratlam, in the Shivgarh forest area. Next one, we grew 150,000 sandalwood trees in the hills called Taranga Hills. Imagine, I was talking to you the other day, right?
Yes.
About developing and cultivating so many things all across India. One village, minimum 10 acres of government land. We have lakhs and lakhs of villages in India, right? And if you just take one district only of India, only one district, in one district there are generally about 500 to 1,000 villages.
Right.
Right, so 1,000 times 10 acres is 10,000 acres. In 1 acre, you can grow 300 to 400 sandalwood trees. You multiply that times 5 lakhs rupees per one tree at the maturity. Right?
Yeah.
You are from CNBC, so
I'm adding my zeros here right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
You'll get tired. And this is only from one district. Imagine if we all come together.
Would you say, are we missing out on youngsters coming into farming? Are we missing out on innovations here? Because the kind of startups that we have seen, if somebody starts doing hydroponics, there are more 10 startups coming into the same thing. Newer innovations, would you say, are still lacking when it comes to agriculture?
I do agree with you. Because the traditional thing is there. And that also to try new things away from the traditional farming. People do not have such a confidence
that this will give them money?
And their life depends on that single year's income for next year itself. So they are not able to try it because of this problem. But few individuals who are very, very successful in farming, they can set the example for the rest of the villages.
And we need to tell that story, of course, which we are doing right now.
And you're doing a great favor, actually, that if farmers come here, they can learn hundreds of things from these premises. This premise is not only for spirituality, but I like to see them materially or bautic way also make money.
I want to reach another point here. A lot of people seem to be buying farming land right now because they think that is the easiest thing to do because it's tax-free and etc. But they hardly end up doing any farming there. And then these farmers who are very happy to let go of this farm. That really seems to be changing the whole geography or the whole narrative on ground right now.
I do agree. And it will continue to change. It will, because few young ones who are adopting to this, they need not even have land. They can lease the land and grow their own things. Also, if government, as you were talking of policies, Uttarakhand, I proposed in 2003 that Uttarakhand has so much of land, unutilized land. 90% is not utilized for any productive thing. Of course,
This is government-owned land.
it's all terrain is entirely full of mountains. That discourages them. But on these mountains, there are naturally growing things like rosemary, thyme.
Which, by the way, you're growing here as well. I saw some of them.
You saw it, no? That is because we have one ashram near Nainital, near Almora, called Satkol. And the mountain in front of our ashram is fully covered with thyme. And if you see the price of
it's profitable.
most profitable, you don't even have to grow.
Okay.
You go send some people, pick up 10 kilos of this thyme from this mountain, in nobody's mountain. 10 kilos is how much? You see, Amazon, if you look at it, 20 or 30 grams of thyme is 110 rupees. Now, when you multiply it 5 times, which will be about 100 grams, is 500 rupees roughly?
Yeah.
And 400 grams. So 1 kilo will be 5,000. And I'm sure you can harvest 10 kilos in a day.
Somebody has to do it.
50,000.
There has to be
And you
awareness.
cry for money, I don't have money. It's the laziness. If you see Uttarakhand, people who are working are mainly women.
Talk to me also about environment. And I remember our earlier conversation where you talked about carbon credits and so much more that we can start doing here. Because India, one, is an agrarian economy even now. And there is just so much that India can do in sense of leading it from the front.
Carbon credit, our Prime Minister's dream is to become carbon free by 2035 or so. How is it going to happen? By planting more and more trees that can absorb this carbon dioxide, monoxide from the atmosphere. For that, we need these breathers who will breathe in carbon dioxide and breathe out oxygen. So it will be a healthier. And challenge is most of the land is owned by railways and the forest department. They won't let you touch it. So as you said, right, policy has to be implemented where either they have to do it or give it out to others who are really driven to do things, driven to make change. Another thing is also we have one of the largest sea coast. And there seaweeds, they absorb even more carbon dioxide than any of these trees.
So you're saying the plan is in place. There are people who are driven to do that. And there are policies as well. The problems really are on ground and in sense of implementation.
Yeah.
Talk about Earth to me, and there's an Earth Day coming up in the month of April itself, and a lot of work has been done around that, a lot of awareness coming in as well, and you're part of this too. What really needs to be done in that sense? We all know by 2047, by 2050, if we do not do enough, then it's going to be a problem. I mean, we have various studies from Niti Aayog, from various institutions pushing that ahead.
What drives the world today is money, right? If you tell a youngster, show me the proof and show me your track record of that you have planted so many trees, reward such individuals. Inspire them, let's say before you can graduate, get a degree, you must have at least 5 trees to your credits. If you don't grow, at least you plant and ask your parents or some of your friends to look after it when you're gone from your village.
You're saying things need to be done at war footing now, otherwise we're losing out on it every day.
Yeah. See, I give you small examples. This one, see, every few minutes, the fragrance will change. It's, you tell me, how does it have a, how does it smell?
Yeah, mixture of cinnamon, black pepper, even chili.
So, flavors of all spices.
All spices.
That's why it's called all spice tree. And this you
And this
can
is
grow
not
it on
native
your
of India.
terrace.
This is
No, it's from Jamaica. And it's not going to hurt any of our trees.
Daji, my final question to you is, what is it that you would want to now tell the youngsters, especially when it comes to meditation, and to the farming community of the country?
Well, make meditation the fundamental thing, substratum, the foundation of your life. Instead of being guided, if somebody really guides you well, take that advice. But even to make the decision that this is right or wrong, you'll have to refer to your heart only. So why not train your own heart, which can speak to you louder?
Daji, thank you so much for taking time out for us today and talking to us. Really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.